transgender male on there who was transgender too. And in this scene, he was telling these other captured women, these captured girls, that when he was young, around 4 years of age, he went to his parents and told his parents that he was a girl. He stated that they opened up their arms and accepted him and hugged and embraced him and then scheduled therapy for him for years on end. At the age of 14, his parents put him out because they did not accept his sexual preference, his sexual choice. And it made me think, it really made me think. That same person became a transgender prostitute. And the reason why they couldn't be traded into this prostitution ring is because when they looked at their biological parts, she had a penis. I realized even through my situation was on with me and my son that I wasn't a large part of his life because of the military and the separation between me and his mom. And I realized it doesn't matter what age your kids are, what age your children are, they absolutely need you. Because if that transgender woman, parents would have accepted her as what she wanted to be, would she ever ended up on the streets prostituting her body, then end up in a steel cage trying to be traded off to another country in a sex trafficking ring? I realized that as parents, regardless of the differences you have with your other person you lay down and had sex with, you had a baby. And they need stability, they need care, they need nurturing. They need to feel some sense of security. They need a safe place. They need to be educated. They need your knowledge, your wisdom. They need all the things that you've done wrong, all the things that you've done right. Because children are so precious. They're so vital. They're so easy, in some cases, unfortunately, to manipulate and trick because they're so innocent. Because they look upon the parents to lead them in the way they should go. If you curse around your kids and fuss around your kids and do drugs and do all other sorts of things around your kids, they're watching you. They're your leaders. Your kids are following you because you are their leaders. A precious childhood is so vital to the upbringing of a child because it can directly affect what that child becomes. See, my mother died when I was 12, and I've said this many times on this channel before. And I'm an anomaly. A couple of my friends, we are anomalies because most group home children who grew up in a group home system, they usually end up on drugs, in jail, or dead. But there's a couple of us who absolutely made it and made a life for ourselves. And I vow, whoever I'm with, to take care of their kids. Like right now, me and my son, we're going through a spot where he's not talking to me, but he's 21 years of age. At one point, I try to force communication. Then I say, you know what? He's a grown man. The only thing I can do is extend an olive branch to him to let him know I'm here whenever he's ready. Every son needs their father and their mother. Every daughter needs their mother and their father. Because there's different knowledge and wisdom that each one will get from you. See, your kids have nothing to do with your relationship. How the dad treated the mom bad and the mom treated the dad bad. They need both of their parents. This is the only way that kids can have some sort of solidarity in their upbringing and the way they will become. And this is the direct reflection of how some kids are more successful than other kids. What if in the black community we had more solid structures in our household? We already know about mass incarceration, how, the federal government have taken the black man out of the home. But what if those homes that have black men in them with their mothers and fathers, if we trained and nurtured them and taught them, do you think that most of our kids will be wilding out on social media, on the street, selling drugs, selling their bodies, or doing silly stuff like they do in Atlanta, buns and basketball, where women are just dressing up? Do you think that majority of our race will be obese on drugs? Because we have a lot of systemic things that are against our people. But the one thing that we could do once we have kids, regardless if the mother and father work out or not, is to be a part of their lives and then be a part of their upbringing. When you make kids, when you make your children, don't matter if they are 10, 15, 20, 30, or 40. If you're still alive, you still have something to teach your kids. Whether it be patience, whether it be a mistake that you made that you don't want them to make. Because when I saw this show, Big Sky, and I saw the predicament that this transgender woman was in, it started with her parents. She was born a boy. She went to her parents and say, "Mom, Dad, I'm a girl." And at first they accepted it, but they said, "You're going to have to get therapy because you was not born a girl, you are a boy." How does this transcend to the message I'm trying to actually communicate? Regardless of the choices your kids make and how they interpret certain things, you may not agree with some of the things your kids do, say, but you should be there for them. See, I didn't have a chance to meet my father. I never met my father. My mother died when I was 12. I have a faded image of what my mother looks like. I have one picture of my mom, and pictures back then in the 70s and 80s wasn't as good as they are today. And the only thing I remember is she loved me. She had an 8th grade education, so there's not many things that she really taught me. And like I said before, I am an anomaly because most group home kids that grow up in the system, they don't have good lives. Live off on the street, especially in Washington, D.C. A city like that can really take hold of you and just put you in such a dark place that you may never get out. I took solitude, thank God, in sports, in education, and all the things that I was involved with in high school. I took refuge. I took solitude in those things. That was my safe place. I made choir. I made football, basketball, baseball. I was on the swim team. I was in the gentleman's club. I was on the chess club. I made all of those things my refuge, my solitude, because my parents was not present. And then my family at the time was broken. It's very imperative that you guys, regardless of your situation, that your kids, regardless of their age, always look to you as a safe, nurturing place with security. Every now and again, I think about my mom, the very faded images and very distant thoughts that I have of her, and I miss her. And when it comes to my dad, I've never met him. I talked to my dad on the phone one time for about 5 minutes. But I don't think of my dad so much because he wasn't prevalent in my life, which makes me think about my son. I wasn't so much prevalent in his life. You know, I was financially there, but in the military, me and his mom being separated, I was moving around. And the question is, could I have seen my son more? Could I have spent more time with my son? I absolutely could. And we all know if hindsight was 2020, we've done a lot of things differently. But I'm here to tell you, it's never too late to build that relationship. It's never too late to let them know you accept them with open arms. I'm not saying invite your grown kids back in and have them run over you. No, I'm saying simply be there for them, nurture them. And if you have young kids under the age of 18, let them know that with you, you won't hurt them anymore. You won't abuse them anymore. Because when you're fussing and fighting and yelling and screaming and drinking and smoking in front of your kids, they're watching your every move. They're going to be just like you. Very few of us in the Black community make it out because the generation before us and the generation before that influenced how we were going to be. When we look at our grandfathers and grandmothers were pimps, hoes, and drug dealers, etc., and then our parents were the same thing, we are inclined to be what we see. We usually become a product of our environment. That's why it's very few Black people doing well. On top of all the barriers and roadblocks that we have in the Black community, systemic racism, white supremacy, discrimination, there's so many things that's already against us that the one thing that we can do, regardless, is be there for our children. We may not have money. We may not have resources, but we have the propensity to give them wisdom, knowledge, and make them feel safe in telling them and teaching them what we have already learned and the mistakes that we already made. Son, don't go over and sleep around with all of these women. Vet women. Date women one at a time. Let those women out there, they want to have options and date multiple men. Let them do that. Don't you be above approach. Because you may start having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids. And then fathers and mothers, you tell your daughters, don't go out here and sleep with all of these men. Vet men. And you also be above approach. See, we don't teach our kids that. No, we feed them, we shelter them, and then we let them go. See, that generational curse is passed down from mother to father to child, so on and so forth. Say, hey, listen, when I was young, this is what I did. Don't do that. It would destroy your life. You would still be 30, 35, 40, 50 years old, living in a 1-bed, 2-bedroom apartment because I did this. I followed the fun and I didn't follow the money. I followed the fun and I didn't follow the education or trade or license or certifications. I followed the fun. I followed the drugs. I followed the drinking. I followed that man. I followed that woman. I spent all my money dating, taking out women. I'm sorry I didn't leave an inheritance for you. I know this all too well. I know this all too well. I've lived a very traumatic, chaotic lifestyle up until I probably hit around 35. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not teaching your kids, and again, I must emphasize, it does not matter their age. There is something that always can be taught to them. You may not have a house. You may not have a pot to piss in, but you can tell them your mistakes and have them to learn from them so they can be better than you were. See, that's kind of the key. For them to be better than you were. See, what's your excuse? Some of you had your mother. Some of you had your father. Some of you had both. I had no one. I had a couple of mentors, but at the age of 12, I was motherless and fatherless. And I grew up in a group home. What's your damn excuse? Me and my son, a couple of months back, we get into this argument. And basically, I was telling him in this argument, hey, you need to grow up. Because a lot of times, and this is not beating on females at all, but a lot of times when male children are with the woman, they start to take on very feminine traits, argumentative traits, and they start to think like a woman. And that's why male children need their fathers. And then some women who have been with their dad, or their dad has been a very strong force in their life, some of them take on very masculine traits, not just from their dad, but from their mom, because single moms are looked at as strong. And these women become very masculine, and the men become very feminine. Your children need you. They need your knowledge. They need your nurturing. Because when that child doesn't have that balance, doesn't have the mother and father to teach them different things. See, we all have to be taught to be men. You either be taught by your father, by your uncle, or you're watching television. And that's not the right, social media is not the right form of education for any child. Because if social media, if video games is raising your kids, then your kids will fail. And see, here's the thing. I have nothing against homosexuality. I have nothing against LGBTQI. I don't care. Whatever your sexual relationship. But a lot of our kids are lost. And they become that because they do not have the mother and father image inside of the home. And if you notice in media, mass media, social media, majority of the people that I see are homosexual are African Americans. And I'm not saying you should not accept them because of their sexual orientation. No, I would never say that. But what I'm saying is, if the only thing you have are strong mothers in the home, but the men begin to be more feminine than any other male, Asian, Hispanic, white, Pacific Islander, Hispanic, where do you think this comes from? This comes from not having a solid foundation at home. That comes from a single mom taking care of 3 kids, 1 or 2 of them being a male child. So his only image, his only parent is a woman. Even though he has a penis, even though he is biologically a male, guess what his image is? Guess what his role model is? It's a woman. So he's going to have female tendencies, feminine traits. And the only way to actually give them a choice of what they want to be is to have both very prevalent in their lives. In this sense that women, if you notice, women are talking to men like they're men. Like, yeah, motherfucker, I wish you would, and da-da-da. Knowing that physically a woman cannot, more times than not, cannot even go hand to hand with the male. Where do they get that from? Get that from, again, single motherhood. It's a large issue, unfortunately, in our community. Now, we can blame a lot of that on mass incarceration, the males going outside the home, looking for jobs, etc. But at the same time, it's time out for all the damn excuses. You need to be a part of your kid's life. And I'm not trying to attack the men, not at all. Because there are some single fathers out there. I know single fathers. And it's tough for a single father with a female because there's certain things that's going to make that male very uncomfortable. He needs a mother. They need a mother or a mother figure, someone in the family that they can trust to teach this young lady how to be a lady. But if you notice, a lot of the women in our community, they're masculine. They may look feminine, nice bodies, cute face, but when you talk to them, you don't know if you're talking to a dude off the street or a woman. You just don't know. Your kids need you no matter what. And I'm not saying that every parent is in the right frame of mind to be a parent, and you should come to the realization of that. And if some things you just don't know, and you in that pride, that ego of yours, you need to say, hey, go talk to your uncle. He's more level-headed. He's more intelligent. Go talk to your aunt. You know what? Go down to the Boys and Girls Club and talk and get yourself a mentor. That one scene from Big Sky incited so much, and it's brought so many memories back from my childhood of not having a mother and father. I had a couple of mentors that really changed my way of thinking, thank God, because who knows where I would have been. For a moment, my family thought that I was dead on drugs somewhere because they couldn't find me because I joined the military. I joined the Marine Corps. Then I joined the Army. They didn't know where I was. I had to freaking go. A lot of us want our kids, when they become of age, we want them to go to college. We want them to go to trade school. But I'm not going to lie. If you didn't do your job, because at the end of the day, it's the child's choice. At 18, 19, 20, it's the child's choice on what they want to do with their lives. But sometimes we have to nudge. We have to encourage, not pressure, encourage and inform. Well, you know you wasn't a great student. What about the military? What about a trade? What about a certification? What about a license? You have to be there for your kids and let them know that this is a safe place. Go out there, make your mistakes. Home is here. I realized that we push our kids out the house so damn quick, and we didn't even do our jobs as parents, and then wondering why in their late 20s, early 30s, they coming back home, or they're failing, or they're not doing as well. And then some of our attitudes, well, I told you, da, 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 da. No. That's not how the way you nurture your child. That's not the way you nurture your child. You afford the opportunities for your child with the resources that you have. You go and you search for things that, if you don't have enough money, you search for things that are free or maybe low cost, or maybe you're looking for a grant. You do everything you can for your children, for they can have a better life than you. They can have a better chance at success than you. And it all starts from childhood. If you go to juvenile detention and you talk to some of those kids, you go to the group home and you talk to some of those kids, say, how did you end up here? Oh, well, I did this. No. What about your mother and father? Very, very few of them will say, oh, I had a solid foundation at home. I had a mother and father. My father was a businessman working here, or he was an entrepreneur. My mother was doing X, Y, and Z. She was doing this, or she was a stay-at-home mom. I guarantee if you picked out 10 kids, maybe one will have that particular story, because that's not our story. See, we can't be like the baby boomers. We can't be like the generation before the baby boomers. We're Generation X. We're the millennials. We're going into Generation Y. We have to teach our kids, train our kids, nurture our kids better than the generations before. And it's time out that I don't know. It's time out for that bull crap. I don't know. You got Google, you got all this information out there that you can actually reference. But the problem is that some of us are still shell-shocked from the previous generation. That curse, we're still allowing that curse. We're still allowing that curse to curse us. And we're using that as an excuse of us doing bad. Okay, well, I never had my father in my life. My mother, she was strung out on drugs. Okay, and my mother, before she died of lupus, she was strung out on crack cocaine. I never met my father. We have too many damn excuses rather than going up and doing something for ourselves so we can do something for our kids. I don't want our kids to end up before their time dead in jail or strung out on drugs. And as you can tell by social media is the one place that will show you how the black community doing. We got all these reality TV shows showing our kids, and I'm seeing mothers watch these shows in front of their kids, in front of their female kids, where they got all this fake stuff on, they got all this makeup and eyelashes, and they're like talking like this and blah, 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 blah. And you wonder why your kids talk like that, because they see you talk like that. They're watching what you watch. They're reading. Well, you don't read. Whatever you do, they are emulating what you do. So that's why your kids are like you. Oh, my kids are not like me. I don't do that. Look at you now. Male and female alike. You got these reality TV shows, they're fighting and throwing water on all to get a buck. And the only thing they're doing is destroying the black community. If you notice, most of these damn reality TV shows are black. The first reality TV show was what, Real World? And then from that point, it took off. And I think the other white one was Jersey Shore. But other than those, all these other shows been trash. All of them been trash. And it seemed like it's so damn demonic that they've been destroying the black community. I'm not saying social media is bad. I'm not saying reality TV is bad, but it's highly influential in the black community because you're letting these things raise your kids and you're wondering why your male teenage kids are twerking on Twitter, twerking on YouTube, twerking on Facebook. You wonder why males are twerking. You wonder why. And it's weird to me because now the males, at one point in time, we were wearing too big of pants. We were wearing these, the large pants. I mean, you get pants two sizes bigger. Now, it's the exact opposite, which is more sexual. Have you noticed that? It's more sexual than it once was when I was growing up. We wore our shorts too big and then we wore our socks too long. I mean, we were just wearing bigger clothing, right? That was the style. Now the style is the exact opposite. You're wearing your jeans too small, so they're tight on you, and I can see your underwear. And most of our kids don't even know the whole sagging of pants is from the penitentiary. And we got women. Our women, okay, most of our women are obese. 8 to 9 out of 10 black women are obese. After the age of 21, I want you to go around in the black communities and look at all these women. They're obese. This is all from childhood. We have been accepting of our kids. We've been accepting of our community and culture, telling that our women are big bone. No, they're not big bone. Everybody got the same damn bones. Oh, she big bone. No, she has 2 layers of fat on her, and why is her fat ass in a bodysuit? I blame us. We're the ones. We're the ones. because we didn't teach them that, listen, first and foremost, we can't eat pancakes, we can't eat potatoes and pasta all the damn time. We have to eat vegetables and fruits. If you want to eat carbs, you need complex carbs like fruit, not always starchy carbs. We're from a country, we're from a continent called Africa. All them starches, like rice and this, that, and the other, Asians and some Africans can eat. Most of us are from Western Africa, where most of them just eat what? Fruit, veggies, and fish. Hopefully you're learning something here, because I want something better for our people, and it starts with the damn parents. See, the kids can't teach the parents, right? The teachers, because we got too much ego, we got too much pride. So the parents got to get straight for the kids to be straight. And maybe we won't have an influx, we won't have a high percentage of homosexuality in the Black community. We have one of the highest populations of homosexuality. I know people are not going to like what I'm saying here. I don't care. Again, I have nothing against your sexual preference, but I can tell you that a huge influence of your sexual preference is from your damn childhood. There is no scientific or medical evidence that says that somebody's born gay. I'm just saying. So we got the men acting like females, dressing like females, wearing dresses, and we have the women looking like females but acting like men. We have, take for instance Lizzo. First, she's going through a state of depression, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know. I saw a thing with her and Dr. Boyce Watkins, and he was talking about how we are essentially projecting and accepting obesity in the Black community, and that kind of blew up for a moment. And then she was talking about losing weight, and then now for her birthday, she took a naked picture. She's morbidly obese. She's literally, as a young woman, very talented, very cute face, is literally on her deathbed, because we're scared to tell our people that we are fucking fat. Now, a lot of us will say, oh, well, you know, the BMI, that's for white people. No. The whole height weight thing is for everybody. Why do you think that in the Black community, one of the questions that when you go into your doctor's office, your clinic, your hospital, they ask you, do you have a history of high blood pressure? Does your family have a history of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, gout, elephantitis, etc.? Because these are some of the things that run rampant in the Black community because of our diets. Because a diet simply means the food you eat every day. And we're allowing our women, without being checked to say, oh yeah, you are 5'6", 240 pounds, wearing a bodysuit, and just because your butt is plump and round, you think you look good. No, you're on the verge of death. I'm just tired that our people continue to accept mediocre. And again, I must point out that mass media, whether it be Fox News, CNN, CSNBC, NBC, ABC, MSNBC, all the damn C's, are highly influential of how we think. If you subscribe to something and that's the only thing you watch, you will be subjugated under their control, because that is the only information that you have. Sometimes I'll talk to people and the only thing they have to talk about is what CNN said, is what Fox said. Well, you know, If you're a mother or father, it's not too late for you to be better. Because when you're better, your kids are better. With age comes wisdom and experience. And you should be giving your kids every bit of your wisdom, every bit of the knowledge and experience you have attained over time. I hope that you can do that. I hope that you at least attempt and try to do that.